Welcome to a solo episode of the podcast. I have definitely been a little absent the last few weeks. Life has been crazy. I have had so many changes in the last 4 weeks. I can't even begin to talk about them. Um, and they just keep continuing. So I'm learning to take each day a little more slower and realize that my life might not ever be at a stable place that I want it to be. And that's okay. And I think that that is one of the lessons that I'm learning right now. And the more that I lean into, hopefully there is more stability coming. But I also do trust the process that what is for me will always be for me, and I can never be behind or too far forward or all of those things. So, taking it in stride, I'm in a very interesting season of my life, and we will just keep trucking along. So, because I haven't had a guest on in a while, I decided to go ahead and we'll do a solo episode. And then hopefully next week I can get a guest on and we'll get back to having some new people on. And this week, though, I really want to talk about some of taking that ownership of your health and working on the foundations. We're going to be discussing a little bit about the 8-week Quantum Wellness Challenge, which is coming up again here on next Monday. We're starting our new round on September 30th. And I have just loved it so much this past time. We're currently in our fourth round. This is the start of week 8 as this day is being released. And it's been really fun to see those that are participating utilizing their AO scan and finding some connections, as well as implementing the lifestyle foundations that we have been discussing and seeing some of those results. So, whenever it comes to our health and wellness, we are the only person that can truly make a difference. We can go to the doctors, we can hire a coach, we can go to the gym and hire a trainer, but we have to be the one to do the work. We can't just hire a trainer and expect our bodies to get fit. We have to do what they ask us to do. Um, we can't just hire a nutritionist and expect our bodies to heal unless we're actually making the food. So there's so many pieces to it, and I can't say that I'm like the greatest at all of it because I'm also not at the top optimal health, and it's because I haven't taken personal responsibility for certain things. We do work on what we're eating most of the time. My biggest aspect right now is mindset, and slowly working on like breathing and just honestly taking life day by day and being in the present moment. That is my current season of health focus. I really want to work on some of my issues with my stomach, which I'm realizing actually have more to do with my gut too. So I'm needing to adjust some of my diet. I'm needing to adjust how much I eat. But I'm also in the season of breastfeeding. So I'm trying to figure out that balance of like how much is too much whenever I'm eating, optimal times of eating, should I be snacking at night, that kind of stuff. So I share that to share that like we're all on our own journey. We're all doing different things depending on the season of life we're in, depending on what our current circumstances is, based off of our symptoms, like all of that. And so the whole goal with the 8-week wellness challenge is to kind of, okay, be aware of where you're at, and then let's start making steps towards feeling better, reducing symptoms, figuring out maybe what are some connections between these symptoms and what is your body needing for support. But there are the foundations that we review. And one of the things that I want to talk about is like chasing a diagnosis. So many times people are like, okay, I got to get diagnosed so that I can start working on things. And this has been coming up for months. I mean, years, honestly, since I've been in the health and wellness space. I have definitely fallen prey to that too. I want to know what's wrong with me so that I can fix myself. But that can become like an obsession in and of itself and can keep you stuck because then once you label yourself with something, if you then start saying, I have XYZ, your body, every time you say that, your body is like allowing that to sink deeper and deeper into your cells. What we speak really has a huge effect on our health and wellness. And so, one of the things that I was diagnosed with last year in January was ADHD. Um, and some other things, but I'm not going to focus on those. But the ADHD aspect, I don't like saying that I have ADHD, but that my brain functions in a way that not everybody else understands, and that's okay. And learning how to utilize the way that my brain functions, um, to live my life in a more optimal way, to be able to organize my life better, um, uh, to, sorry, I'm spinning already, to plan and organize tasks, and really just make my life the way that I want to make it, knowing how my brain functions. And knowing also that if I eat a diet that is, fuller with fats and protein, and I'm balancing my blood sugar and all of that stuff, that is also going to help the function of my brain. Um, so whenever we dig and dig and dig for a diagnosis, it does not remove the fact that we need to work on our foundations. So if you have issues with, I don't even know where to start. If you have issues with something, think of anything. I'll let you be the person who walks through this exercise. Think of the thing that's going on in your life. Um, what parts of the body is that connected to? For the brain and the gut are very connected. So what I'm eating, all of that kind of stuff has an influence on how my brain functions. And but also sleep. How much sleep am I getting? Am I hydrated? It all ends up coming back to a pretty cellular level. So I kind of am starting to want to approach things at a end and beginning, and like work our way to the middle kind of thing. And that's coming from starting to learn. I'm not an expert. Starting to learn about the detox pathways or the drainage pathways. I did a training earlier this year that discussed drainage pathways, and it was so fascinating to me because like everyone's all about these detoxes. I want to do a heavy metal detox. I want to detox from parasites. I want to detox from mold. All of these things. There's still foundational pieces on all of those. So drainage pathways are, part of your organs. You got your liver, your gallbladder, your small and large intestine. You have your stomach, your mouth is part of that, your colon. And I just named those randomly, but they do have an order of hierarchy. The one at the bottom is the colon. The one at the top would technically be your brain, but if we're going to talk physical, we'll go with the mouth. Because whenever you start chewing your food, that is starting to activate enzymes in your mouth, and that's like signaling your body, like, hey, this is the type of food that's coming, and this is what we need to prepare in order to digest it. But that even starts in your brain when you're smelling food. And then at the end, we have the colon that's like finishing the job. And if we start somewhere in the middle, say working on the liver, well, if we still haven't started pooping every day, if we're still stuck, then working on that liver and getting those toxins out could end up recirculating if you're not pooping. So you want to start from like the bottom up, but then, and like opening those pathways so that more can get out. Then on the other hand, though, that ends up going as deep as a cellular level. And if your cells aren't functioning, your body's not functioning, and we are made up of cells. So I've really been trying to work on the foundations and some of those end pieces as well, and slowly like working up the hierarchy and a little bit down the hierarchy, but at least starting with the cells. And the cells need specific things, which is some of the stuff that we discuss in the 8-week Quantum Wellness Challenge. We take a different topic every single week and a different part of the AO scanner. So the 8-week wellness challenge is really a challenge for my AO scan team and anybody who's wanting to work on their health and wellness. I personally encourage people to get the subscription for the AO scanner, because then they can run their scans as often as they want. They have access to figuring out what supplements they need every day, as well as broadcasting frequencies. There's mind sync, which is all about rewiring the mind. There's so many really amazing aspects of that. And I don't charge anything else. If you choose to get the software, like you're in. You're in our team and we're going to work on this together. And if you don't want the software, I do have the option to run one scan every week and do a daily broadcast for you based off of your wellness goals. And then you get to attend the weekly meetings, be in the group, and ask questions and all of that kind of stuff and work on some of the foundations. And then you pay one bulk price for that. But then we go through each of these different topics each week and start building on them. So I want to talk a little bit about some of those foundations. And if you want to join the challenge, feel free to message me, or you can text me. I'm going to give this to you now, and then I'll try to remember to give it to you at the end. But you can text me at 814-701-3939. That is my business phone number. Whenever you text, it will come back with something about subscribing. And if you ever want to stop getting these text messages, click stop. I don't really send a ton of marketing messages via text. It is more of a way to keep my business and my personal life separate. And I love the software that I'm using. But text me at that number that just text Quantum Challenge, and then I can send you information about the challenge. And we can go from there with that. Anyway, back to these 8 weeks. So I'm playing around with reordering them. I kind of have some different things because they're also important to me. And I'm like, what order makes the most sense? We are going to start again with mindset and breathing because I really think that the mindset around our health and wellness is so key. And if we can then also start with breathing exercises that first week, then we can start working on just supporting that calm and getting present. Like I said, that is the season I'm in, is like, okay, I have these 500 million things I need to do, but let's try not to get overwhelmed and let's focus on the one thing that's in front of me. Or brainstorming out, writing out a list of like brain dumping, and then saying, okay, which thing do I need to prioritize right now in this moment? Is it my kids? I mean, if it's my kids, I likely didn't just brainstorm or brain dump. I'm likely like dealing with them. But if there are moments that I'm like, oh, the kids are being good, I can do a little bit of work, I can, clean the house, whatever the case may be. Trying to get more present with like, what is the best use of my time right now? Part of that is needing to get off of social media again. I had been doing really good for a little while. The last couple of weeks have just been crazy, and it's an addiction and a way of coping for me. So I'm working again on like staying off of my phone unless I'm actually being purposeful. Um, anyway, so that's like the week one where we discuss mindset, we discuss breathing. We're probably going to start talking about AO Mind Sync during that week as well, because that's part of that mindset stuff. Another foundation is the nervous system. So your nervous system does so much, and your cells are indicating a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go down that rabbit path. Okay. So the nervous system and managing stress. So in week 2, we learn a little bit about the nervous system and what it does for us, and some techniques on understanding how to deal with stress. This last round, we had Leslie Gibson. She did this whole like right brain, left brain exercise and how that correlates with stress and how we deal with stress, because it's based on like whether we're logical or my brain is escaping me. I'm the opposite. I'm like the dreamer, I have all the ideas. Creative, logical or creative. And then we went through our whole body. So it was like our brain, what eye is most dominant, what hand is most dominant, what foot is most dominant. I can't remember. There were a bunch of them, but they each mean something different. And she recorded that. So I might be doing it a little bit different this time, but we will have that available in the course aspect of it so that you can look at that and then you can share your drawing and she can like say, hey, this is what this means. But then also like learning some stress management techniques and things like that. Then another foundation, and I'm moving this one up the chain a bit for this round, is toxins. we just talked about toxins this past week in week 7. And like I said, I am always like juggling, okay, what's the most important thing? Toxins are so abundant around us, and we can't ever escape them necessarily, but being able to be aware of them and then make better choices. I've been kind of looking at quite a few other people's plans when they work with people or foundations of like detoxing and different things like that. And their first step is detox, or not detox, it's toxin removal, just getting those toxins out of the home, getting them out of your lifestyle. So we're gonna move that one up because I'd like to work on getting those out, and then start implementing some of the other foundations. Week 4 is all about the sunlight and circadian rhythm. That is where that was one of my I loved every single week. I can't even pick one. But anyway, understanding why sunlight is so important, why it's important to see the sun not the second, early when you wake up without looking at blue light first, how it sets the circadian rhythm and really sets those cells to work throughout the day. The more that I've been learning about this stuff, the more I see that everything is related, the more that I see that there are these common threads in the foundations, the more I see how intricately woven we are, because it's been very fascinating. I've been like Googling really inter whatever questions. And the one that's fascinating to me is, okay, like how many cells in our body? So I just did this for this past week for a co-op class I'm teaching, and the one kid actually got it right for kids. An average child around the age of 10 has 17 trillion cells in their body. Um, I think it was an average woman has 28 trillion and an average man has 36 trillion. And then obviously we're all different heights and weights and all of that. So like that's going to vary very much person to person. Um, but then within those trillions of cells, so we already have trillions of cells. Each one is doing whatever it was designed to do. We have DNA in each of those cells. Um, and it's doing what it's designed to do. We have multiple mitochondria in each cell. It's just fascinating and mind blowing. Um, in each of those cells, there are, oh crap, now I'm gonna lose it. I don't know if it was one, maybe it was 1 trillion. They're like, again, because our cell is still not the smallest thing an atom is. There are so many atoms in one of those cells, like trillions. And it's like, holy cow. Okay. And then like each atom has electrons, protons, and neutrons. So like I don't even know how many of those are in each atom. Um, but it's just so fascinating. And that's really just based off the creates the charge, which then leads into some of the next stuff. But like we need this negative charge in our body. It's just so fascinating to learn about that stuff because it's so foundational, and if we can work on like supporting those aspects of ourselves, some of those other symptoms that we're struggling with are going to start resolving just because we're starting to support the basic foundations of our cells, and their needs. And then, if we're supporting in other ways too, of the body, it's just going to do a whole host of amazing things. Anyway, so the next one that we talk about is hydration, trace minerals, and grounding. And we talk about all of that in 1 week. Because I've been learning more about hydration. And I, for many years, believed that hydration was just drinking more water. Oh, I'm dehydrated. I need to drink more water. I'm dehydrated. Need to drink more water. Can't drink tea. It has to be plain water. It's best if it's like distilled. Oh, wait, no. It's best if it's alkaline. Oh, wait, no. It's but like there's so many different things. But hydration isn't just drinking water, because if you're drinking water and you're just peeing it out, that's not helpful. You need that hydration to get into your cells. And all our cells have all the receptors and all these things. And we need minerals to drive that water into the cells. Anyway, long story short, we talk about trace minerals, and ways to get that in the body, and then grounding because we're electrical beings. all of this is working off of electric, and it's so fascinating to me. It's positive and negative charge because that's what atoms are. And grounding is a negative charge. Like the earth has a negative charge. And so when you just stand in the earth, it is giving your body so many electrons and electricity, and it's just amazing. Um, week 6, we discuss gut health and nourishing foods, because what we're putting into our body is also going to help us or not help us have good cellular function. We talk a little bit about leaky gut at its very base, different ways to support our gut, and really just working on eating more nourishing foods. My goal with this challenge is to realize how simple it can be. Not saying it's necessarily easy, but how simple it can be. So many people, um, have, and I struggle with this because I'm needing to work on gut health. Um, you have to eat this or you can't eat all of these things. I take it more of an approach of like, what can I eat? So, like, in this uh, week of education, we end up talking about like the different types of foods and whether like your body wants them, doesn't want them. We utilize the AO scan with it. So the one course that I've taken, she talks a lot about histamines and oxalates and all of that kind of stuff. And if a lot of those foods are coming up on your skin, those are things that you would want to remove. But rather than focusing on like removing those, one of the things I want to shift this this next round is, okay, what foods can I eat? So if I do have, these issues and I needed to eliminate those, like what foods can I eat? Because then if we start from a place of positivity, essentially, in our food, so I know that I can eat celery. Okay, so what could I do with the celery? I could put peanut butter on it. I could dip it in a homemade ranch. I could just eat it plain. I could throw a little salt on it. Um, cucumber. I know I can eat a cucumber. Okay, could make a cucumber salad. Like, you start thinking about the possibilities versus like the lack of what you can't have. Um, so anyway, that's a whole piece of information for you. The last, second to last one, number 7, is about movement and the lymphatic system. I will be the first to tell you I am very stagnant. I do not move my body enough, and it's an area that I'm working on. Um, because I've been working on this for the challenge and I'm teaching it in my son's co-op class, I've been talking to him about it a lot more. And in his science class, we actually learned, we went through some different things. We were learning about how movement is important for the body and all this stuff. And so he's like into this whole, like, every day, he's like, Mom, are we going to go for a walk? Mom, are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Like, he's all about getting movement in every single day now. And I'm like, and he gets plenty in. But he's been getting me to get up and move my body, which has been amazing. Um, but how the lymphatic system plays a role in that, and how like the lymphatic system is part of our immune system. It's part of how our body gets nutrients and how it expels toxins and um, all of that fun stuff. So movement being a super foundational thing, and it doesn't, again, have to be hard. It doesn't have to be going to the gym and doing an hour workout. That could actually be too much for your body if you're, too stressed out. So starting with just some basic, simple exercises of stretching, just like taking some time throughout the day to just stretch your arms real high, or do some toe touches or twist your body. Those types of things can be really helpful just to get that movement of lymphatic flow, of your circulation, of moving all of those things, your energy, your frequency. Because, of course, we're talking about frequency through this whole thing, utilizing the AO scan and just understanding how our bodies are doing different things with frequency. And then the last week, we are going to be talking about sleep. And I like switched all of this stuff up a lot. But the last week, we'll be talking about sleep and how important sleep is and what it does for our bodies, what it's doing while we're sleeping, all of those types of things. So, anyway, sorry, I keep getting interrupted now all of a sudden by my family. But we're at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and have some closing thoughts. That is what we discuss in the 8-week wellness challenge. If you're interested, please send me a text message. I will tell you again in a minute what my number is. And I just I love supporting people through this. I love seeing the connections and seeing like, oh, the body needs XYZ, but like also start with these foundations. I'm not super into supplements. The AO scanner does have an amazing um, module where you can add all of the supplements that you own and then run scans to see what you need each day. You can even use that to kind of test if you're wanting to buy supplements and you're not sure if it's going to be good for your body or not. You can utilize that to kind of test those supplements and see if they come up multiple times. I have quite a few that I have been testing and they've been coming up. And so one of these days I need to get around to ordering them and start taking them. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this solo episode. I know that it was kind of quick. I know that we kind of talked about a lot of things, but I wanted to share about the 8 week wellness challenge. We're going to be starting it every 8 weeks. Like I said, it's kind of more for growing my team of AO Scan Solex people because I really want to provide you with a lot of support and resources through your wellness journey. And if you can utilize that to empower yourself, it's just so amazing. And we can also, have a lot of influence on each other because some different people struggle with different things and might have found different solutions for different stuff. So, um, you can text me again at 814-701-3939. And you can text me the word quantum challenge and I will send you information for that. And everybody is done with the day. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.